Hello there, I'm Diaz. I will do my informative speech on autism and society, education, and the media. Thank you for your time. So, first things first, what is autism? Now, autism is a social disorder. It affects those who have it with their mind. There is a spectrum, the autism disorder spectrum, or ADS for short. There's severe autism, mild autism, and the high-functioning autism. Now, people in the severe autism struggle with communicating with others more than someone with either mild or high-functioning autism. Mild autism can bridge between severe autism and high-functioning autism, while high-functioning autism are people that can able to understand social cues and communicate with others. Now, for high-functioning autism, people are more able to have a bigger IQ than someone with severe autism. Those who are severely autistic really struggle with communicating with others and getting to understand their own thoughts and feelings and stuff of that nature. It is harder for them to communicate properly. While someone with high-functioning autism can grow and learn and understand social cues better. It affects differently to different people. And again, we have to look back at the spectrum to understand what type of autistic person, through their diagnosis and their communication skills and their cognitive ability. All across the board, I believe autism has changed in the past couple of years with diagnoses, how many people are being more diagnosed at a younger age as the year progresses on. Autism is in a different state than it was 10 years ago. Autism with 2000 looks very different than autism 2010 and very different from 2010 to 2020. More children are being diagnosed as the years goes on. It used to be like 1 out of 10, maybe a few years ago. Now it's like 3 or 5 out of 10 children nowadays. These are the common traits and characteristics with people with autism. 1, autistic people have great memory. That's because of the more cognitive brain. The brain is always working, always on. That's why another thing for number 2, autistic people have a trouble time sleeping because their brain is always on. 3, gestures, body language, sarcasm can go over a person with autism's head, since a lot of people with autism takes everything too literally, and sarcasm doesn't really help. People with autism don't necessarily like to be touched or hugged in many cases. A big one would be eye contact. A lot of people with autism, that's one of the early signs if a child or someone with autism do not give eye contact for the person that they're talking to. If the person talking to them and they don't receive eye contact for someone with autism, that's usually a big indicator. It's 5 things what people with autism tend to have. Again, great memory, don't have eye contact, does not like to be touched, does not give eye contact, are very knowledgeable on the things they love or like or interested on. It's actually a specific type of autism, which is called Asperger's syndrome. Asperger's syndrome is a form of high-functioning autism on the ASD spectrum. So someone with Asperger's, again, it's a type of autism, can have very great knowledge of the things they like. I want to go on talking about education and autism. Right now, there's a lot of a lot of teachers are having to adapt and knowing how to talk to a child with autism. That can be very difficult if they're severely autistic or autistic in general. It can be very difficult. And I want people with autism, it just thinks with a different perspective. Not communicating probably at the best of their ability, but I believe that a lot of autistic people are doing the best with the hand they were dealt with. Just I want to let the teachers know that can be overcome during some support group meetings. And the child with autism understanding that their actions cause consequences and behavior, because a lot of autistic children in schools right now are dealing with behavior issues and socializing with other students and understanding understanding their way in the world, as we all are. As a tip for any teachers, not give up on the child with autism, to really keep striving on, talking with the parents, talking with the child, though they might not understand what we are saying and communicating. Maybe one day you will get through to them and they will understand what they are doing, if it's misbehavior or just having trouble socializing with other students, that one day they can understand and make a process to overcome their limitations. I want to talk about the media in those who portray autism. Autism is being definitely in a few shows being the front as lead characters having autism. Here are some examples of some television and movies that portray some autistic characters. I want to talk about The Good Doctor on ABC. Dr. Sean Murphy is a autistic surgeon resident, and he's trying to navigate his way through his medical career and understanding life and the troubles of having autism and also the benefits of having autism in his field. Please enjoy.
I met Sean Murphy when he was 14 years old.
Sean! Just act like a normal human being.
He was, and he still is, an extraordinary young man.
Autism. Difficulty in communicating.
He's high functioning, he's capable of living on his own.
Difficulty in using language and abstract concepts. Does it sound like I'm describing a surgeon? He's breathing. He saved his life. Who are you?
I'm Dr. Sean Murphy. I'm a surgical resident at San Jose St. Bonaventure Hospital.
We thought that this board wouldn't have any doubts about hiring a surgeon diagnosed with autism. Justify your decision.
He also has savant syndrome. Genius-level skills in several areas. Sees things.
It's his heart. Adam needs an echocardiogram.
No, behave yourself, or you'll be removed from the building.
The echo is normal. Surely.
And analyzes things in ways that we can't even begin to understand.
Again? Again? There.
Looks normal to me.
It's not normal.
This kid was sprayed with glass shards. What if a piece of glass entered his bloodstream? What could be lurking behind the heart?
You were right.
We hire Sean, and we give hope to those people with limitations, that those limitations are not what they think they are, that they do have a shot!
Never forget, you're the smart one.
Next up is Atypical by Netflix, showcasing the life and struggles of an autistic high school student boy and also his family, trying to understand their beloved family member with autism.
I'm a weirdo. That's what everyone says. Sometimes I don't know what people mean when they say things.
Sam, people on the spectrum date, you know.
Girls don't really notice me at all, and I'm not great at picking up signals.
She's smiling right at you.
You need to turn that down like 70%. There are strategies that could teach him.
I'm not a little kid anymore. I can do things.
Strategies or when you get your heart broken.
Sometimes I wish I was normal.
Your family is fragile.
Everything is Sam this and autism that. It's time for you to have your own life.
Next up is Everything Is Okay, and it is a show by Freeform. And here's a young college autistic woman. Her father dies, and her brother-in-law becomes her new guardian. And also, she gets another half-sister.
I have autism, and Dad used to get frustrated when I always made things about myself. But he is dead now. Surprise! I write my own songs. I'm also only into black men. Is that appropriate?
Can you please hug me?
Really don't like hugs? How about I'll dance with you?
One of my favorite shows is Communities, and there's a character named Abed Nadir who's very into film and pop culture. And let's just say Jeff Linger, the protagonist of the show, has certain kind words to say to him.
You know, I thought you were like Bill Murray in any of his films, but you're more like Michael Douglas in any of his films.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you have Asperger's.
It's a serious disorder.
It really is.
Asperger.
Next up is the movie The Accountant, starring Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick. I don't know much about this film, but I heard that Ben Affleck plays someone who's autistic and is an accountant. So, please enjoy. I'm so sorry you had to see that. I did not know that was going to be shown. I didn't know that Counter was that type of movie. Ben Affleck, just cancel it. I'm so sorry. Just he has to go. Okay, we're back. Lastly, I want to say that autism is growing, is ever changing, and we're learning as much as we can. And you might ask yourself, why focus so much on autism? Well, it's a very personal thing for me. You know, living with autism for the past 15 years have not been the easiest, but I want to believe one day is my dream, that one day in future generations, thanks to those who are taking the stand now to become role models for people with autism doing amazing things, that future generations don't have to worry about their future, or parents, when they find out that their child is diagnosed with autism, that they have role models to look up to. And I would urge those who are successful with autism or Asperger's or are on the spectrum that they'd be brave enough, willing to share their struggles with autism. But I definitely want that for future generations, that they don't have to struggle like I did living with autism, and those who are before me that struggle even more. Again, autism is just a different perspective. There's nothing necessarily wrong with us. We shouldn't be looked down because of a disorder, and it should be looked at as a positive life instead of with negative stereotypes and stigmas. I just want to say those who are struggling and suffering for not able to understand why other people think the way they think, autistic people having mental tantrums in public or in private of their homes, I just want to say that you are not alone, and it is something you can overcome. Don't let your disability or condition, or whatever you want to call it, as something that hinders or limits your future. Thank you, and God bless.